Greetings, and welcome to Odoo Tycoon. I'm your instructor, Greg Moss. I'm sure you're very excited to jump in and start making this fun Business Tycoon game using the Odoo framework. We will begin by creating a directory to hold our projects. Next, we will create an application template for our Odoo Tycoon game using scaffolding. We can then use this application template to begin building up our game. So I'm assuming that you have Odoo installed and some sort of IDE or development environment that you can use to write your game in. I am using PyCharm and Ubuntu. You can use other ones. There's Eclipse, Sublime, and I have used before Visual Studio in Windows. So you have a variety of development environments, but you'll want to have that set up and you want to make sure you know how to run Odoo. But I am going to begin by creating a directory and then creating the template for our project. So we're going to hit Control-Alt-T here in Ubuntu to bring up the terminal. And I can navigate to where the Odoo source code is, opt Odoo 12. So this is where Odoo is installed at on this system. You'll need to go to wherever it is installed in your system. And if I type /Odoo-bin, this is obviously what you're using to launch Odoo, or just execute Odoo. That's more of an administration thing than a development thing. Just you run Odoo using Odoo-bin. But we can also use Odoo-bin for scaffolding and to create our template. And you can see the commands available to you by typing Odoo-bin scaffold and a -h. And this will just give you the arguments that you can provide. We're going to first begin making a directory to hold our add-ons. Right here, mkdir add-on. So you'll make that directory. I've already got that directory. You'll put that in. It says it exists for me, but if you don't have it, that'll add it. And now we're prepared to go ahead and create our project template. And I'm going to do that by doing /Odoo-bin scaffold and Odoo Tycoon. So this is the name of your project that you're creating. And then you need to tell it where you want it. And I can just type my add-ons. And you could just as easily use a specific path like this. And when I hit enter, our application template is going to be created. Now, if I type ls and md my add-ons, I can see in here our project. And I could do cd Odoo Tycoon to get into it here. And here's all the files it created. Now, we could use Nano or any kind of text editor to go in and edit these files. We don't have to use a development environment, but it's going to be a lot easier for us. So we're going to now jump over into the development environment. I'm in PyCharm here, and you'll see that we now have a folder, and there's our project. Now let's go ahead and make some small changes and install our project and our application, make sure it works. So I'm going to open this up, and here is an _manifest_.py file. This is the manifest for the application. Now, unfortunately, PyCharm colors it kind of funny. I'm sure that could be changed, but we're in here so infrequently it just doesn't bother me enough to worry about it. So here you can see that we have the name of our game or our application, and I'm just going to leave this Odoo Tycoon, of course, but here for our summary, let's say create a fun Odoo Business Tycoon game using Odoo's framework. And I will put myself in as the author, and I will use OdooClass.com as my website. So there's going to be other things that we're going to be looking at in here. But one nice thing about the template and what we're doing in this case is it's going to make it easy for us just to make the changes we need, see the results, and actually jump in to start making our game right away. I'm not going to take you through a lot of the boring reference and syntax. I'm going to assume you know how to edit files and save them. And so basically we just made these changes, and it should be self-explanatory. If you want a description, you can put it in here. You can keep track of your versions here and so forth. And we'll talk about the importance of some of these other things as we continue. So with that, we can just save this. I'm going to hit Control S to save it. If you're using PyCharm, you can also do a save up under Save All. And so at this point, we're ready to at least install the application in our Odoo database. And so let's go ahead now and create an Odoo database for our project and install our application and make sure it works. And so this will get us up to the point at least where we can start, making our game. So at least in PyCharm, and I'm going to assume a lot of you are going to be using PyCharm, and we shouldn't have to talk about this too much, but here under Edit Configurations is where we're going to set our game up to run. And so you can see we have our script path here going odoo-bin, and then we can send parameters to it. And notice here we have -- add-ons -path, and we just have add-ons here. Well, we need to add a comma in my add-on. So this sends to the Odoo engine that we have an additional directory to look into for add-ons, and it's going to automatically pick up our new Odoo Tycoon project that we made. And one other thing that I've added into mine is I specified XML RPC port 8888, and it's just because I have another service already running on the default 8069. So if you just want to run on 8069, you can take this out, but I have this in here, and you can specify the port you want to use. And so I can apply this and run it. PyCharm just has a little run right here, and I can click this run, and you can see that just like that I've started up the Odoo service, and I can go here to my browser, and I'm using Firefox. If you go to 888 web/database/manager, this takes you to the database manager. You can see I have a lot of projects here I've created, but I'm going to create a new one for this, and we'll just call it Odoo Tycoon V12. And I am using the community version of Odoo. This should work just fine if you wanted to have enterprise as well. And for email, I'm just going to use admin. You don't have to actually put an email in there. And I can just use admin also for my password. You don't have to provide a phone number. English can be the language. And I'm going to, just for a country, put in the United States, so we get at least some accounting in there for that country. And then I'm not going to use the demo data. We're going to be creating this game from scratch, and so we want to provide our own data. And so I'm going to hit continue now. So we got our database installed and created. I'm going to just fill in the email and password, and we'll log in. And we have all these that we can install provided to us. And if I go here and I type Odoo Tycoon, we probably won't see it. Oh, we did. Okay, so we did see this the first time. Now I'm going to tell you that sometimes I don't see this pop up. And so I'm going to show you, if you go here to the menu here on the left and choose settings and come down here and activate the developer mode, there's an update app list, and sometimes you want to click this and click update and force it to update the list. And I think that's going to happen if I created the database before I created the project. So I think because I had already created the project using scaffolding and it was already there, when I created the database, it picked it up just like as if it added this. But if you had already had a database and you made a project, you might not see that, and I think you honestly won't. In my experience, you don't see that project unless you click Update Apps List. So just to be aware of that. And generally when I'm developing, I come here, I go to Settings, and I turn on the developer mode, because there's just a lot of instances where it's going to give you information and about your your project and about the applications and the models. You're going to be able to get things using that developer mode that you just can't get if it's not on. So let's go ahead and install it. I'm going to click back here. We'll go to Apps and Odoo Tycoon, and we'll click Install. And just like that, it's installed, no errors. And we can come here to our pie chart and just look down here and just make sure we're not throwing any errors. And I'm not seeing any. So everything appears to have been installed okay. And if we look and pull it back up again, we'll see that it is installed. And say module info, and you can see the things that I typed in, like my author name, are pulled over my website. So everything is installed as expected. And now in the next lecture, we're going to be able to start creating the game manager model for our game, and you're going to learn about how to create models in Odoo and how to create views so that you can look at those models and interact with them. So see you in the next lecture.